Greetings everybody, I'm Gunner3 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Detective Chronicles. Last time we started the trial, and now we're going to continue the trial. Either finish it up today, or finish the trial up today, or till the next to be continued. If you don't hear me my voice wise later, it's mainly because I either really kind of have not much to say, or it's just really could not speak it much. Alright, sorry about the no Let's Plays as the last few days, but like I said, I've been doing some renovations at my house, so it's really been really hard to get these Let's Plays going up. Ah, there you are, Odo. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Solms, Gina. You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes. I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. Yes, as was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Solms. I was more shocked of all you put together. This autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was deliberate omission. Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on and Dr. Sight. I know. Anyway, it seems the day before Lord Von Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Grayson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something must have happened with them. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Solms? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. Sleuth-hound interest merely piqued slightly by a rare scent of weekly £4 income, and that scent masked that underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Solom's suite, you know what I mean? That's right, Susie. And it was me who took him in. That's the top tip of the good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So there's gonna be a pair of witnesses knowing stand acts, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense, though. The day before Inspector Grayson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would Inspector Grayson have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Grayson's own sleuth-hound interest has piqued the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't you dare! Don't tar him with such brush as he Holmes. Yes, well, there's a whole Inspector Grayson being investigated by Lord Von Sykes for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Grayson, Lord Von Sykes, and Kazan. I feel as though he knew he'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. I'll observe in time, my fellow. The Reef says it will be over shortly. Yes, you're right. Kasama was determined that he should be the one prosecuting this trial, and he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is he hoping to make me see, I wonder. I get the feeling that we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mrs. Autumn? Yes. Oh boy. I have a feeling we are too. Especially since we got one other case left. of the courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty's Queen, I hereby declare the court will be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of the wrongful Sykes at here president, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Sully, your lord, have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the 2 members of the Red League who planned on carrying out their reception. They arrived not long from the local prison by the police carriage. Very well, very good. They left, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. Oh, yeah, I recognize those 2. These 2 men are currently being held by police on suspicious attempt of extortion. You may omit your occupations but state your names for the court. I am Fabian de Rousseau. Okay, French is really gonna be hard for me to speak. I'm sorry, guys. A descendant of the great de Rousseau family, from Nice, France. Nice in France. Is that Nice or Nice? Because I know French speak it a little differently. My name is Pepino de Rossi. I am the 3rd son of the great family de Rossi, the landowners of Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted at the boarding school for European nobility. They who graduate from okay, I really can't speak that. Temskate are today future leaders of Europe. But you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? No kidding, Alois. I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the great cells in my brain. That is what I'm trying to do, huh? So, that's only the reason why the whole grand deception have you been carrying out? You could see that. Not bad, Zach. Not bad, eh? He has grand ideas, but the pretty plans. The strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. Zay Capo. See Capo? Okay, he has to be from Spain. Spain or Portugal. Listen to me, Pepino. I have 2 things to say to you. It's how about you tell me when you're grandy astronauts and no dates. Rivia. Firstly, I want you to stop calling me Zay Capo. And secondly, we're not the Oliver's brothers. Illyria's brothers. See, serious business. Sabello, this is it. Shibilio. Oh, that's a Capano trap card. The follow brow. Indeed, a couple furrow and meaning of your words. The court have been led to believe you are under the banner of the Red-Headed League. You have conspired to swindle money from the unsuspecting members of the public, is that true? We says that. It's been a long time since I've learned French, probably 2nd grade. My God. And what exactly is the nature of the deception by which you plan to defraud? Alois, I will explain it. No, Capo, leave it to me. Let's see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased without pity. Even being the Capo here have many times behind schoolhouse crying at a traveling fountain. Wait, is it all good ones? They respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head and just say being in battle. Says being in battle. I will explain to the rest. The first step was a newspaper advertisement. About a week before the plan was about to go into put in operation, we listed same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw the notice. What's this one, I believe? Entitled to the Red-Headed League. Wait, we see that stuff. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that your only condition of joining the league is the flame red hair color. And if you satisfy the interview are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the day specifically, red-headed hopefuls gathered and drove into the park specified in the advertisement. From each person present, the pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. Oof! And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant. Is it known? No, it was not. It was dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to take in by such an obvious trick. Mr. Jones says hold my beer. The park was described as by which one witness choked with a red-headed flock like St. Coaster or Orange Barrel, i.e., and the day of which these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, the two men spoken face to face with every single person that day. I've seen more redheads in one day than will ever see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see Capital Sarah, I feel sick to myself. You're redhead too, kid. Anyway, why have we summoned here today? Sorry. Set date for our trial not until now. Tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. There have been shown a photograph. Very good. So, Mr. Mirza, name is Rosie. Now, will you give me a formal time to the court on the subject of the gentleman, the picture, or the photograph? Oh, yeah, of course. We are always reason to help with the law. Oh boy. And the booger. We had more, say, 1,000 redheads people assembled at a park in Lime Street that day. But I don't recall a man in this photograph. None. I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now. I assure you he was not Zay Park. Alright. The victim was nothing to do with us. You have a lot of answer and probably. It was your fault. It's your fault that we got caught in the first place. Oh boy. You're given a sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Wait, I'm certain he did not abuse that man. Nobody like him came to the park. This can be, I can promise. Let's note that you have been arrested for grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court is a little confident in your assurance. Touche. Oi. Good for you. With the attitude, we're getting nowhere. He's really sulking now. I'm not blaming him. This is confidential agreement directly from Scotland Yard. According to the entry, Inspector private dated day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Redhead in the League, undercover. I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park the day of question? See, ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Grayson was investigating the Red Leak, which means it's quite possible that when he was killed, very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. Oh boy. These two are gonna be a pain in the butt to cross-examine. If I have to say,
Hold it!
1,000 people. That's a very big crowd. That's a very big crowd. It's quite spectacular. Redheads come all from all over the capital. See, the capital here has a magnetismal amount. I'll say nobody else could attract so many people. It would be, if I were to be born again, I would be the capital. Hey, all that people wanted was their money. I mean, say 4,000 pounds per. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? We did, basically, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names and we take their money. We take their address as well. Then we tell them that it will take some days to let them know by post if maybe 2 minutes a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late at night. So you earn 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. You don't say. Who would have thought that there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with a chemical hair. You better not tell him that. I said that earlier.
Hold it!
He doesn't look familiar at all. No, I don't think so. Oh, and this is a wig, eh? It was trying to trick us. It's not like the people who are trying to trick us, the other people are the other. Says the con artist. It's between them and the interview. There were thousands of people with Redhead. It would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, senor. No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget such a thing. In my opinion, I don't think this man was in the park, but he's not going to give the court a definite. It seems. I remember him, and obviously he's dead now, but I sure was not saying that. But according to what you said, you spoke with thousands of people that day. Why, they through. So my eyes were burning with the end of the day. Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you certain? That this particular man wasn't present? Not only the redheads are very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crawling around. No, then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. not say line properly enough. Remember, we don't remember him. We sure that back though. If Zay was man was a red hair piece, but the mustache did not match the color. Then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Cosmo said to had only been shown that photograph, and they told nothing else at all. If I feel it, I just. I certainly appreciate you knowing the man in the red head would not remember in this situation. But if I told you the man in the red head piece was actually a detective, the man in the photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear you found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate in incognito. Sorry, but a big change. This is nothing. Actually, it does from what
Excuse me.
Something that, Mr. De Rossi? Oh, see, I was adding something while I was on Olive. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? What didn't you say about the detective? Yes, Dennis. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You've said enough already. But why, Chapo? What's the problem? There was a man who said, I am Inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord. Well, that happened. Well, that's happened. Explain the voice in your testimony, Miss Witness. It's simple. A man was at the park, etc. There's no such man. Man, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten it? I forgot nothing. I said, Capo, Basta. You beat me at meetings, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, this time no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way. So
Objection!
Top blood, say damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. The man who came to the park said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looks nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be sure? Because, to start with, the face is completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was younger. His face was clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I looked at the obvious precautions and said, if you are really a detective, show us proof. See, the capo here doesn't take no nonsense, eh? Was prepared. And he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector? That is the most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. Oh boy. Inspection is quite out of the question. Definitely, why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the paper was fake. Alright, Capo, you're a genius. I say, there was a death and recognized what happened after he announced he was detective. It became very annoying. It said, you're under an investigation. So I took the papers from it and chased him out of his apartment. Now look, it's an investigation. So he stole it from the man. He had it coming. He was very scared. He was not who he said he was. Indeed, the person described in the paper appeared to have. However, I believe it would be prudent to. Wow, I like him. Hold on. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector identification looks like inside. Hello. Yes, it's definitely fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what's the name? What was the name? What the name was given? Probably something flocked up in the air. It's oh, hello. Wait, what? It's caught in the yard insignia. It looks genuine to me, but how? And the department and the identification number details are correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this genuine identification book is issued by Scotland Yard. And that's unbelievable. The real thing, after all. He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And wait, he was trying to trick us. I don't think like people who are trying to trick other people. Says the con artist. If between the intervening and we only have a few words. We only have your word for that. See, what else can we do, eh? True. We don't have nothing much for fun these days. We were arrested, then we showed up at the horrible picture of a death. Now you question every single thing we say. Hey, what are we, victims here? Hi, Gamble. No. You were caught carrying a plot to swindle 100,000 job people. You had to bring that up, say. Hey, it's not fair. I get home.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? Kama, you promised not to say hey, Kama. After we've taken the money, we should have left the Kazee country. That was the plan. But say purchasing a ticket for the ferry to Donkerskew to my company here. But say brought the wrong day. Oops. See, it was an easy mistake to make the first of 31st. Oof. I have no sympathy for you. We aren't in the old days the late same got moved because you have your sympathy. It's only because they call us a great redhead detective caught us. Kappa, you know what I think. Yeah, the great work of God is a holy punch, eh? Probably know Thursday last time. This is not only punishment, but it's only your fault. Why? I don't blame God. Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You're making me sick with anger. Maybe it was a mistake, but my time eating pasta is no one's faster. And I've seen evidence. I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much. We already know. No. What do you think, Mr. Nona? Well, I think it's Inspector's diary. He's gone to the live stream that day. And yet, two well in the planes didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounds plausible in their respect. They may be lying to simply avoid the implications in their case. Surely, if we truly experts in deception, they would have been caught. Well, yes, you did have a point there. It seems to me we need a little more information. Definitely. This is a tough one.
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine the identification very closely. Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade? What is your attention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. Let's go into exactly which allow his or her identification. That is the boss's, no question about it. That can't be. As I suspected. They're an undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League involvement on the day in question. Was the real Inspector Gregson carrying out an investigation? That's it. I can't even pronounce that. If the boss had identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always up on me about it. About losing. If you lose something like some part, it reported it once. Could it be then? My Spectre was physically able to report it? Physically? What do you mean? Are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had a chance to do it. No. The defense possessed a score the day before his body was discovered in a different way. Do you have anything to say about it? Boy, nothing. I've done nothing. Please stop that for me. Come on, do you can behave a little more like a master criminal? Is that none? Oh, I wish I had returned to Italy. Stop crying, Fabino, please. Let me stop whining over there. Let's start talking. Well, I believe the court will hear your story. I said nothing. No. You will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. Hug. You will dry your eyes and testify again about the advantages and precisely circumstances in which you came by them. For crying out loud. Say truth is, we took the imposter and kept it for the night for the secret of our hideout. Even though I didn't think the real was the real detective, I was too scared to let him go as they day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him to shut him in the next room of ours. They might have been a little tussle, but we had nothing, no arm. And the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in the next room. It was nothing like the prison, really. Oh boy. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man? Oh boy. Oh no, sir. No, it was not like a prison. He was comfortable and calm and happy. I got him. It was never part of my plan. I swear it. You think it was my fault? Just because you got a date on the ferry wrong by one little day? I don't think it was your fault, Pepino. I know. No. All the war. Coming out is not fair. We have plenty of time to squabble back at the prison, gentlemen. Oh, I don't believe these. Could have been a real detective. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the consultation. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night at a confine in the Paris hideout?
Hold it!
Dude, do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me, I have no intent for what happened to you. I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. There was a first-rate crime. This was a first-rate crime for a capital. So he was in the end of his wits. I told you before. See, not to describe the criminal master. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house in the park of Line Street. We rented it out for 2 days. It was inspired by Capo here. An impulsive idea, I would say. No. Inspired Capo. What am I supposed to say to that, Camino? As the house was described, you can find an exaggeration was it. But I have to remember, stay under the impression that the pretender is not the real inspector. That doesn't find out though. If you didn't think that the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason for it to take him prisoner, would there? You're right, but we couldn't completely be certain. Yeah, that's a point. Both have points. He was scared. Why? Because why he come to the park, we didn't know. To say was chance that it had been seen during my plan. And it was in the case he could have gone straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if he was just a foreign trying to be an inspector, he was up to no good without a doubt. I think most people would agree that you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you're right, hey Capo. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That was why we had no choice to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt like the need to show you his identification in the first place. I asked myself that same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings that day. I have forgotten what the name was, but the address, it startled me. See, the address is Scotland Yard Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your friend probably know. Anyway, I was not rude, I was probably asking why he did it. And once they started with the inspector, not long after, I took his identification. What was Inspector Rayson playing at? I'll report what happened next. You took his identification next to the wait, you say... Well, I can't say that.
Hold it!
This being the vindication book, you're correct? See, that's the one. What made you believe that was forgery? I've never seen a real one, of course. He was suspicious, this man. Although I was thinking he maybe it would be falsified couple. Wait, it was just as Papino said. We were convinced it wasn't genuine. So together, the Italian brothers, we took Doug and Capita. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. There was preparations to transport all the money. And for a penny, and for a pound. Oof.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Well, if it was nothing, just a minor incident. The falsified sector, he was a real piece of work, What happened? It was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilation. Ventilator. Can you blame him? I don't blame him either. We chased him, being sure, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in haste, did you? But then no, we were saying, of course not. I simply caught the man again and took him back into the room.
Excuse me.
Alright, Mr. Devrossi, is something wrong? Alright, me? Something Mr. DeRose said seemed to make you, seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What is it all about? Capo, at the time, I think you don't want to have Capo after you believe me. I speak from personal experience. That's enough, Papino. We no need to say anymore. The truth is, the night before we put the Red League back in action, I was scared. It was not fair to Capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. Capo here, he came after me like a termite, He dragged me back in the house and kicked me and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it. Hey, careful. Bruises, you can say. You want to see? I'm feeling fascinating bruises. That's enough, puppy. But no one wants to see any part of it. What do you do? I show you, I don't. I'll show you, I don't. You do, now. Alright, let's see also. You see, is it... That's a red ring mark on your neck. You were dragged in the back of the house? That mark looked familiar! That's enough. Neil's neck has nothing to do with what we were talking about there. You have my word. Yes, what is your opinion, Counsel? That looks familiar. Miss Rosie, I'm gonna have to ask you. Give me your testimony about the mark around your neck. I don't know. You see, everyone's interested, I say. Very well. Gonna make your testimony. Question. Hold on. Let's look at that photo. He has no mark around his neck. What mark?
Objection!
So the day before you discovered Gregson was taken prisoner while working as a king? None. It was not say it was already prisoner. It was the best innovation in its day. However you describe it, there is one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would ask the court to closely look at the victims and Inspector Gregson. You will see that there's no red ring around his neck. What? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. I saw the red ring on his neck. There, given that mark is still clearly visible on his witness's neck. I expect to see bruising on the victim who put the collar most recently. Dr. Marvo. Indeed, the most particular. But it's what we tell you. We say this from the beginning. Many times, Wait, Barbino's right. Man's in the photo is somewhat different than Catholic that night. He's right. I hate to say it.
Objection!
That's true, however, how do you explain them? This is a genuine vacation book issued by Scotland Yard. It's unbelievable that someone has stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. They also note that the inspector had made a note about the Red League in his diary on that day, which it surely means that we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If the real inspector these two noted encountered, the fact that no bruising around his neck defies explanation. Equally, if there's actually encountered an imposter, how did the person come to be possessed the real inspector? Does that defense have the possible explanation, Counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. And for precisely these applications, we keep meticulously notes in the court record, because there are people that cannot lie. No, the facts I can't lie. Even the point is something that's incredibly, almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the truth of the person turned out in the park, the Red League, and wrong is real information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious. very tantalizing, Mr. Naruto. But why don't you help us to see whatever the truth is you apparently see? And a buster! Cue all Humongous fans out there. Though it seems incredible, I admit the undeniable fact of one point thing. That Brandon's bruising can only be victims that. The person with the two random took that day cannot have been the impious Spectre Reeks. In other words, your whole argument up now has been a whole waste.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There is no bruising with the victim, so the question immediately poses the next question. Who exactly was the man in the park of the live stream to be carried by his speculations? See, that's right. We tell the Satori all the time. Whoever the man was, from the color of the dog collar. Surely, the defense has no idea about that. About the true identity of the man in the park. Do you remember, guys? Do you not remember the bruising around his neck?
Take that!
Good gracious me! Isn't that one of the witnesses who stand in the very courtroom earlier today? A nameless man whose occupation appears to be peddling hearsay by
Objection!
Or do witness back. Witness, it's a man. What happens then? Huh? See, that man is not a redhead league, eh? He's looking to twist the lemon league, you know? Perhaps rather than marking the red claim next, it should be a little. It seems improbable, yes, but undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Odd! The defense demands Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order, Bangla. Bring the witness back to the courtroom immediately. Yep, there it is! Well, I never... and I will ring a bruising indeed. Identical to what the witness is behind. Now what's going on here? I always had it with me. It's a birthmark, you say? I assure you there's a reason you were called to stand. Explain to you, right? Something about this back breaks again. I'm telling you, I got nothing wrong as usual. You're denying all the knowledge of it. Of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with nonsense? All this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you have more stories to battle back on at Fresno Street, won't you? How we're going to need you to testify. And you, Mr. Doctor, are sure to cooperate, won't you? Do we have any tours? Are we... We are in big trouble, eh, Capital? That's quite enough for the story chatter. Proceed with the testimony. Oh boy. The man who claims this back to that date is definitely not that man. So you think he would forget it, man. Never leave Fresno Street. I have no trust in any of it. It's all none of the world to me. I'm no kinfolk. Nothing. Just like me. What's that and carry on for the disguise so face like mine? He has a point. I would certainly appear that we have a wrong man. What have you telling you tomorrow? Say no, it was pointless testimony. Sorry, I'm just simply a peddler. Remember, there's no street at all. All I know, I'll come by the police inspector after I can push away. Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but a great conversation, I think, Counsel. A very brief. Isn't there anyone here in the courtroom who thinks that I might be onto something? I stand the steps so fast at your side, Mr. Marno.
Hold it!
You say, but how can you fight something? Said no one need to hurt your hands on the desk. Monsieur. Surely no reason, obviously none. Because I've never seen this man's lips like this. Nevertheless, there is a clear red mark around the man. And you look very fine over. Hold on, let's say a word of wiring. It does look very much like the rock from the neck to me. Oh no, this is the word of what? His lips on the one in the dive for it, the road one. That made me. First day last, first summer morning. I feel luckily that I have been born with the red hair. I thought I'm in Japan, made you stand out in London. So maintain you've never seen this man before? See, I swear it was a flame on my hair. So fiery pride was outgrowing frustration with your hair, has it?
Hold it!
Oh yes, I don't imagine I forget those left in a hurry either. That's either what I'm saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat. How did Fowler call it in Claire? You know, I've never seen hair as black as yours either before. Likewise, I've never seen hair as like yours until it came away. See, maybe national right trait. Maybe all the people in this man's country, have grand lips. So, I was born with the president here on Thursday, so I never left. There's the problem, see. So you definitely don't go to the park and live stream that day, Mr. Gossip? Now, how many times I tell you, I'm gonna say it.
Hold it!
So, you hadn't heard of the Red League, have you? You don't get a name like Gossip, nothing. It's my business to know what's going on in town. I sold tasty tidbits to a fair few redheads that came past me. This thing is, I even got Samuel's card for it. Well, he does have the red nose. He has a point. That counts. Who knows? But you can say my hair got nothing hanging red. In that case, the president's street was my cash. Don't catch me siding with us on two hair.
That's so.
No, sir. You have something to say?
Excuse me.
Mr. D'Ambrosio. Wait. Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the day I was looking for a place near a park, a small house or something, to the headquarters of your Red League, yes. I visited outside of Lime Street, and it's there what I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip was a housing agent? We had some contact and they were clearly discussing terms. No, you're mistaken, Sean. I never left President Street like I said before. You're mistaken for someone else. No one for the same face. No, Capitalist Murray, I remember it too. He was paying a man about the man with the banknote. With notes. Like I said, it wasn't me. I was curious why this man had such money. So I looked into his name in his papers. And was Mr. Gossip. Oh no, this man, he lies. He tells us he's no. But in fact, his name is Hero, huh? It's better than Mr. Gossip, eh? No. I'm a fellow tip in there, like I said, in Russell Street. And that's what it's at. I don't much like folks talking about my personal life. Indeed. It is not intentionally the court to make the privacy. Very well. I shall respect your wishes, sir.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense as subject. That's because the name just mentioned has a deep significance to this case. Good gracious, do you similarly object, prosecutor, sir? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. But I never, in my capacity. T-Bone, that name is on the leaseholder of the room. And very simply, the victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose it might be the case, eh? So your real name is Yubone. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's none fellow tippets in town. I happen to be afforded a government little room following on the back street of that house. You do? And once every 6 months, I gotta pay rent, agent in Lime Street. But I do remember now, there was 2 vulgar redheads in the last time. If either of us vulgar, it's not me. Think again. Probably no. Oh, I didn't. Well, didn't you ring this up? It's like I told you already. I don't know, we're talking about personal life. It's Tampa Fellow, where everyone's connected now, plus. You will update your testimony, including the Mr. Boone. If I must. So the leaseholder of Scotland Yard is looking for it since the body of his sister have been discovered under our nose all along.
Hold it!
So, you live in the Rumper Room, lady? No, I don't live here. What do you think? There's no beds, nothing out of that. And why would you want to rent them? Oh, I don't think I should have to say it really. Then how about the notice board there? Let's just cover up the bottom of confidential documents. It's just accident. No, the board's not mine. Inspector Rayson must have brought it along. It's only the bits of bobs that belongs to me. The desk, the chair, and that. People don't barely carry an enormous notice board around with them. The real question is, why is Inspector Rayson killed there in your room? Well, obviously I have nothing faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It means that Mr. Gossip, sorry, Mr. Boone, would rather know little of his room, thoughtful person. Yes, it does come across that way. More importantly, knowing the scene of the crime actually is his room, it's completely changed things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me. That's how I'm finally going to undo this, man. Well,
Hold it!
I'm gonna hold it right here, and then I'm gonna... Have no family? No, none at all. I saw my days in Fresno Street battling tidbits pass it by. Not hoping with eventually someone else will help the lips will come along. I don't think so. You might be right. Anyway, the mark on your neck is too much coincidence just to ignore. Well, the fellow do, eh? I can't believe you don't believe me. We're an impasse. Don't flip my lip. Looks like I'm going to get anywhere here, unless I promise some proof. And you're basically saying I can wrestle but pose as a fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me that I can do that. Really? You said it was your realm. If you had no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it's amongst the spare furnishing we found this photograph in the room. I presume you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Moon, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler, I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me, just leave it alone. As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated.
Objection!
How you can be sure? This guy could ever hide that on us.
Objection!
What if we were looking at this the other way around? What do you mean? Yes, counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying Mr. Moon's lips is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibilities. There's a prominent, his prominence is a part of the elaborate disguise. But the hiding a prominent feature, in other words, revealing its true face. But making it utterly unremarkable disguise. Would you agree? You bone. Wait, are you still hiding the truth from us? And this is this guy's then. Underneath it is his true identity, must be. Yes, that's right. The only real person who can really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal its real to the court. No, please, no. Very well then, counsel. What is this man's it goes? Simple. Because he looks exactly like the guy. Your real name is actually Mr. Virgil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Virgil. I don't recall the name, counsel. What is this, Mr. Virgil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. He has a certain client, Mr. Shams. A young gentleman came by the detective's office asking to locate her missing husband. The woman in his photograph, in fact, is his missing person. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before your inspector was found dead. But of course, on the night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed men. And the last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. So because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were homeless. All homeless. Being important witnesses in the case, we needed you to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not been able to return, also unable to contact your wife. Who's by himself with worry, waiting for you at the residence. No, just hold a minute. I don't have a first aid. Talking about? Really? Huh? It's simply enough a matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. I love this. Well, I want That's about Rosie. You've overseen a witness as one. Wait, see, Mr. I'm sorry. This is funny. No. Gotcha. There you are, Virgil. Hello, Mr. Virgil. Well, we are now seeing the true features, I presume. Oh, yeah. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face. It appeared that the defense counsel assertion was entirely correct. This has all been an elaborate deception. So, witness, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but let's see. There's no much question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary. On the day of right out of league involvement, the man's claiming to be Inspector Racing who appeared before Mr. Russell, I can't pronounce her name, was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, was posing as the inspector in disguise. No, at all. Mr. Virgil was formerly employed as the chief warder at the Barclay prison. The chief warder. Did your career have premise? Why would you quite possibly have become the future governor of prison? What on earth have you been doing peddling the time of the Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Virgil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am Daily Vigil. You were the chief warden at the Barclay prison 10 years ago. So where did Hugh Bone come from? Bone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface there. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life had become. As we say, 10 years ago, that my employment at Barclay Warden came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for a new occupation which earned a wage, but times were hard in London, so I found no suitable engagements at all. Desperate one day, I turned a hand selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. So she still maintains that you were the chief warden at Barclay. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which I've never told her. I opened my account at the bank under the name of Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. There's the scene of the very crime we are investigating. Yes, that's right. A place which I could emerge every morning at 8 and squander pallor. I transformed myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about the town, returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. That explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to self-conceit, they regard me with pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decide to conceal your occupation from them. Yes, I made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell by passing a gentleman, even 6 pence a piece, you couldn't hope to match your salary. You must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To keep your family in comfort, despite 10 years somewhat misbegotten proclaiming. This was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I invented Boone and began my other life as a street peddler. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I know him from my time working at a prison. When he saw what I became, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me from Fresno Street, increasing regularly. Alrighty. Then one day, he asked me if I could carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What is it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? Hello. We've always met in that little room so the inspector could police me. Visit Osprey tomorrow and take the statement from the proprietress. I was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would let me his identification so people would believe I was who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that expectation happened at work. And for those service, he compensated me financially. Is Scotland Yard willing to relinquish its identification into your care with intent to deceive? That is, I'm sure, indeed not the point of a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of your impersonating him? I truthfully don't know. All I can say is that Inspector warned me that on numerous occasions. Now remember, Virgil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if I am a choker. What the heck? The time he stared at those papers and put them into the front to the room as well. He became something of a second office to him. Wow. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be in at the party lifer was really... Yes, it was me. Acting as Inspector's orders. As usual, I removed the Boone disguise and went to the park and armed with the Inspector identification book. However, it occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might have given me away. There's something off also. Well, the scene of confession completely destroys the defense. Mind yourself, Prosecutor Sagi. My victim was killed by another case and by the hands of... But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, goodness. Finally, there's clarity. He had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And you see, my decided to defend for proving it. There's something else. There's no involvement. Somewhat ironically by the defense. Cross-examination.
Hold it!
Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose a question for the witness. What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would be present in the very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. The execution of the Professor Jensenus. I want to know what your involvement was. Oh, answer my man. Gun involvement, counsel. Is it relevant to the current case? Naturally. It's the prosecution's belief that the case and the events of 10 years ago are an excruciating link. Does the events occur? Possibly. You're not yourself. You claim to collect full and common collective studies. Or Cosmo, son. No wonder he's acting this way. Virgil's memory of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale against his last moment. His own father. I know. I don't understand that. The prosecutor tell you. Do you genuinely believe that the question requires an answer that only learn the truth about Gregson's death? I need you to trust me, please. Very well. The defense has no objection. See, in the case where you truth is, I remember very little at the time. What, you forgot? I'm sorry to say, yes. Honestly, I said I resigned from my role. My memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Oh boy. Does that strike you as strange, Mr. Nardo? Sorry? 10 years is a long time. To have forgotten the reason why you left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Virgil's claim contradicts us of what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken and easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it from the front. Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering, we feel the unbenevolence of terror. We block it out, obliterate it from our memories, steal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, the fragile spirit may be finally crushed. But I really don't. Cosmos. I demand, if I must so be it, because the truth, the state of hurry, will not be state of hurry, it's coming out in the... Right. No, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps I should point out the contradiction of what Mr. Virgil claimed earlier. It might cause a crucial memory to return home. What should I? Should I present the evidence or not? And keep Palpatine, voice, do it. I have no idea where this is going to go, but this court of law, I have a duty to pursue the truth. Virgil, I like to take a look at it. Evidence that clearly contradicts your dismissal notice. Just a few moments ago, you said the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claimed I have left the post of chief on your own violation. Well, yes, I'm of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing these documents before? Oh, no, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member employment. A dismissal notice. And the name on the notice? It's yours, Mr. Virgil. What? What? It's mine. So you didn't resign from the police service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as the chief wanderer from Barclay. No, there's some mistake. I'm sure. I attended my resignation. Dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? Is if you were forced to dismiss, it must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Virgil, is it time to break the seal? I remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution you supervised was on 17th of June, 10 years ago. On that day, something very serious took place on Barclay Plaza. The 17th of June. What's that? What was that? The professor's execution. Professor. Are you, as you were the chief warden at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings? It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict obstinately executed earlier today later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. Mr. Roach and Oach. Mr. Trevor, a gunshot rang through his shoulder. And the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing that you changed, however, seeing the execution at the time, you must have known the truth of what really happened in your head somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warner Daily Virgil, I know there are memories in your head that you can explain what happened on the 17th. Now it's time for you to drag them up. Oh, no. Mr. Virgil? Yes, that's a whole prison. It was completely chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news wrapped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Wait. He escaped? Or. Do you mean to say that your memories are returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams, oh my goodness. The papers, there were reporters, or articles about the man who was seen a ghost. Yes, and no stabber, clever. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? Unlocated cemetery at a plot number 199. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible happened there. The depths of the conspiracy and the poverty from which this tale emerges are quite staggering. I reviewed the police records at the time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigation team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting the prison warder abetted the man for freedom? Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using the mass murders execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? Uh-oh. I remember now, the horror tale of it all coming back to me. On the evening a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called by the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Daly, but this is a serious business. I cannot help you now. As chief warner, you were responsible for overseeing the execution at Fort. Well, it seems fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You are intended to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated criminal killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh, wow. That happened? Order. Bailiff, fetch a doctor at once. Court is adjourned for today, immediately after effect. Well, that happened.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Well, that happened. And that's only... Wow, we still got some more stuff to go on this? Alright guys, that's a good enough time to call it a stream. Alright guys, we'll continue either tomorrow or some point. Alright guys, I'm Angano3. Catch you guys later.